How are you feeling? I mean, must feel like you just got started and now you got to shut it down for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's really abrupt. The season just like you're 100% and then boom, now we're just 0%, right? There's not a lot going on right now. But definitely gonna take some time to spend some time with my family, go home, see some friends and everything. So looking forward to that, but wishing, we could start next week.
Yeah.
So,
Do you take some time and just forget about everything and just kind of just re-energize yourself and all that?
no, not really, to be honest. I can't just forget about everything, right? Like it's always lurking in the back of my mind. So, still gonna be watching film. We get to watch Sunday football, right, every weekend. So gonna be doing that and just hanging out.
What's your biggest takeaway from the last 2.5 months for you?
I just got to be better with my feet. I think that's a really big thing for me personally, just to get better timing with receivers and, hitting them in the right windows. And it's going to take away from some of that scrambling that I've been doing and, taking those sacks. I got to throw the ball away as well. So those are probably the two big things that I've realized to help us win games.
Yeah, you mentioned the sacks. Last 3 or 4 games, they kind of started to pile up on you a little bit.
Yeah, so, that's just, it's good D-lines and everything, but it's also just me holding the ball too long.
Yeah. You seem to get, we were talking to Geno earlier, you seem to get some chemistry going with him the last couple of games, which is something pretty important, I think, for next year because he's got to obviously be in the mix.
Yeah, well, he's a great receiver to start with, and he's also a guy who's easy to throw the ball to. You just throw it around him, and he just seems to catch it. So he makes the quarterback job pretty easy.
How disappointing is this week? Shutting it down and everybody going their separate ways.
Yeah, it sucks when you have to stop playing football, right? I know, when you're not playing football and you're watching from the sideline and you're just not playing in general and off seasons, like I've experienced it all. So, definitely have to embrace when you are playing and, you can't take anything for granted.
You experienced it all this season. From game one as a backup, and you had a couple of games where you didn't dress, and then you're in as the starter and having some success and then having some issues. But it was pretty much you ran the gamut this year.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's kind of how professional football works for me so far. That's kind of been my experience this far. So just got to learn and adapt to it. And I thought I've done a pretty good job of that so far and just going to continue to grow.
What's in store for the offseason?
Well, Waterloo made the playoffs, so I'm trying to go back and see them play. And then I'm definitely going to go back and watch some high school football too. I always go back and support my high school. And then it's just going to be a lot of training, keeping in touch with my agent, and yeah.
Trey, talk about the mindset now going to training camp next year, maybe as compared to your first couple of years as a pro, knowing that you're going to go in as the leading candidate to be the number one quarterback.
Yeah, it's nice to kind of know that, but at the same time, I prepared coming in this year like I was going to, win the starting job in week 1, right? So, I'm always going to prepare just to be the starter regardless if I'm the starter or not. I feel like that's the best way to prepare, and that way you don't get caught lacking when your name is called.
Because Chris said that even though you're coming in as the number one, there will still be a competition for that job.
Yeah, I think that's how it's always going to be. You got to perform. Even if, you are the guy, you can't afford to have off days, never mind off weeks, and not be prepared for camp. So,
you've been a starter for a long time. This year, what did you learn about being a starting quarterback that you didn't maybe understand or know before?
I don't know. I've always been a starting quarterback my entire life until, now pretty much. But I don't know. I think the big thing is just adapting to the defenses because, back when I was a starting quarterback in U Sports, it was really a lot of cover 3, cover 4. That was it. And now there's a lot more variety. So just seeing all the different pieces and everything, I'd say, is probably the hardest part about now being a starting quarterback and preparing for that every week. So.
Trey, you're a bright spot for a lot of fans in this season. Can you talk about the feedback that you might have heard from Elks fans?
Yeah, I'm not a huge guy on social media. My wife looks at it a lot more than me. So she gives me some of the scoop here and there. But, I appreciate all the support. It's nice to know that the fans have my back for sure.
Can you talk about the impact of the fans on the season, despite 3 tough seasons, still a lot of butts in the season?
Yeah, I can't lie. I was super shocked, especially that week we had, I think it was like 32,000. And what were we at that time? Like maybe won one game or something. And I'm like, I don't know very many teams that are winning one game getting that many people out. And it's crazy. Like I've never, really played in front of big crowds in general with U Sports, maybe like 3,000 or 4,000. And then, you think, oh, you're coming to a team that hasn't been performing well. You're thinking the fans not going to be, just the fan base isn't going to be there. Then, boom, we have 32,000 people at a game. And then you look at a team like Toronto who's won a lot and they don't have as many people at games. So, it's definitely going to be a bright spot for the Elks, I think, continuing forward as long as we continue to have that fan support.
When you look back at this season, is there? I mean, you brought people to their feet a lot. Is there one play that you remember more than any other play that you made this season?
Shoot. I guess maybe the Toronto one. I think that's the one that's the most recent for me. Yeah, just ran around a little bit and then threw Gavin the ball. That's probably the big one for me. That one was cool too because it was kind of at home for me. Had a lot of friends and family there too, so it was pretty awesome.
Can you talk about the emotions as you guys pack up today?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely emotional. I mean, I was actually on my way out already. I forgot I was supposed to be here, so I got my dogs and my brother in the car. I'm gonna be leaving after this, but like it sucks that football comes to an end, but then it's also great because I mean I have a young daughter, 10 months old, and you know I don't get to spend a lot of time with her throughout the season because I'm here in the morning. I don't get home till 6 o'clock. She goes to bed at like 8, so it's not a lot of time to spend with her. So it's gonna be nice to get to spend the extra time with her in the off season. Now she's walking around and stuff too, so that'd be pretty cool.
Can you talk about your hopes for the next season?
Well, I mean, I think it starts, you know, with just winning games weekly. I think that's going to be the big focus. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, Grey Cup or, you know, playoffs and stuff. But, I mean, you really got to take it a week at a time. I think that's what the really good teams do as well. Like, you got to take it a week at a time. And then, you know, hopefully things fall the way you need it to fall near the end. And if not, it's going to be another long year. So I'm really hoping we make the playoffs next year. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Shay.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good trip home.